In the heart of the turbulent Roman Empire, a desert province called Judea was teeming with political, religious, and cultural tensions. It was the century Israel, under Roman rule, lived a mixture of messianic hope and cruel oppression. The Jewish people longed for a deliverer, an anointed one of God who would deliver them from foreign domination. In this scenario, full of expectations and conflicts, a figure emerged who would forever change the course of history: Jesus of Nazareth. Ruling this province with an iron fist was Pontius Pilate, the fifth Roman procurator of Judea. Appointed by Emperor Tiberius, Pilate was known for his harshness and callousness to Jewish customs. His rule was marked by scandals, violent repression, and controversial political decisions. But there is an episode that made him enter the pages of history forever: his involvement in the trial and crucifixion of Jesus. What few know, however, is that there is an ancient and mysterious text that reveals something even more surprising. A letter written by Pilate to the Emperor Tiberius, in which he describes with great detail and even reverence who that man named Jesus was. In this letter, Pilate does not speak as a simple Roman administrator, but as a man touched by what he saw. He describes Jesus with words of astonishment, as someone who seemed to transcend human nature. Pilate found himself before a figure that baffled even the most hardened skeptics, a man whose presence divided crowds and whose gaze, according to the governor himself, seemed to pierce the soul. But why would Pilate, a Roman official, feel the need to write to Tiberius about a Galilean peasant? What did he see in Jesus? What did you feel? And most importantly, because this letter was hidden for centuries. Today we will dive into this fascinating document that has crossed time, surrounded by mysteries and controversies, and reflect on the impact that Jesus had even on the powerful of his time.
Pilate appeared again. I will bring him up again, but let it be understood that I do not think he is guilty of anything. Jesus appeared with a crown of thorns and a purple tunic. Pilate said, "Behold the man."
Greetings, Majesty Tiberius Caesar. The recent events in my province have been so extraordinary that I feel the need to relate them in detail. I believe that these events may at some point influence the destiny of our nation and the entire empire. Since I took over the government of Judea, my life has been marked by worries and anguish. Soon, when I arrived in Jerusalem, I offered a feast. I invited the Tetrarch of Galilee, the high priest, his officials. None attended. Days later, the high priest came to me. He claimed that his religion prevented him from sitting with Romans. But I realized his justification was false. They despise Rome. They are proud, treacherous. Your Majesty, I strongly advise you, beware of the priests of this region. They would betray even their own mothers for a handful of power. Jerusalem is unstable. At any moment I fear a revolt. With few soldiers, I requested reinforcements from the governor of Syria. His response was alarming. I can barely protect my own province. The empire, Majesty, is becoming vulnerable. And it was in this context that I heard about a certain Galilean preacher. They called him Jesus. Initially, I thought he was more of an agitator, but I soon realized he was different. One day, I saw a crowd gathered around him. Jesus preached sitting calmly. I asked Manius, my secretary, to come closer. When he returned, he said to me, "Lord, I have never heard words like that. He speaks wisely, like a man who sees beyond life." And then I heard about his answer to a treacherous question. "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." I was impressed. I saw there a righteous man, not a rebel. However, his popularity angered the powerful. The rich, the priests, were constantly criticized by him. Jesus called them hypocrites, snakes, whitewashed tombs. Many warned me that he was dangerous, but I saw in him only wisdom. I once advised him, "Moderate your words. Your enemies can use the people against you." And he calmly answered me, "There will be no refuge for me, neither on earth nor under it, only in the heavens." I promised to protect him, but the inevitable came. The crowd was incited. They screamed for his death. I tried to negotiate. He offered the release of a prisoner. I expected them to choose Jesus, but they asked for a low bar. I couldn't contain them. I ordered the crucifixion, and then the sky darkened. The earth shook. Even the soldiers trembled at the death of this man. As must be of your curiosity, O most worthy Caesar, and also of many Romans, I now proceed to describe the appearance of the Galilean. Jesus is an impressive figure and different from all others. He is a man of average height, with a quiet bearing and a serene presence that caught the attention of everyone around him. His face is characterized by an expression of kindness and peace, conveying calm even in the most tense moments. He always seemed to look with compassion at people, as if he deeply understood each one of them. He had long, soft hair falling over his shoulders in a harmonious way, a little wavy and a light brown or even blonde color, which stood out among the people of the region. Their eyes have one of the most striking features. They are deep and penetrating, with a tone that varied between light brown and blue. They convey a sense of wisdom and goodness, and at the same time a steadfastness that seemed to understand everything about life and the human heart. Jesus' skin is clear, with a soft touch, almost like that of someone who works outdoors, but who maintains a healthy and well-groomed appearance. His face is considered beautiful and very symmetrical, with features that inspire confidence and reverence. It's not just an ordinary face, but rather one that conveys authority without being imposing or threatening. He wears a full, well-trimmed beard that adds a certain maturity and respect to his appearance. Jesus always dresses simply, but with dignity. Their clothes are clean, even if modest, usually consisting of a long cloak and a tunic. He does not wear accessories, flashes, or jewelry, which shows his detachment from material things. Its appearance conveys a message of humility and simplicity. Even in the midst of his imposing presence, he is someone who, without saying a word, manages to pass on a message of peace and welcome. It was impossible to stand before him and not feel that something divine was accompanying him. Your Majesty, I write this letter with a heavy heart, but with a clear conscience. I did what I could to act justly. Circumstances overwhelmed me. The crowd, inflamed by the envy of the priests, cried out for blood, and my duty as governor bound me to the laws of the province. I ask your Majesty to judge my conduct fairly. I did not omit efforts to avoid the tragedy. May my loyalty to the empire and my commitment to justice be considered in your assessment. This is the most faithful account I can present. I take responsibility for every decision made and humbly await your sentence. I will continue to be your loyal servant until my last breath.
This letter is not just a reliquary of antiquity. It is a mirror that invites us to look more deeply at the figure of Jesus, not only as a historical character, but as a transforming presence. Regardless of your faith or belief, this is a story that deserves to be heard, questioned, and shared. Pilate did not have all the answers, but he had the courage to record what he saw. And have you ever stopped to think about who Jesus of Nazareth really was? If this story touched you, like the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Support helps to spread these reflections that span centuries and remain relevant to this day.